Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be talking about 4 sources of competitive advantage in business and how you can effectively leverage these to get ahead. In today's fast-paced kind of business world, in this fast-paced environment that we all kind of live in, there are ways that you could use technology, systems, and kind of collaboration people to your advantage. As Dan Marzel calls it, the 4 C's, and these are code, content, capital, and collaboration. So let's break down how these pillars can support and accelerate your business growth. The first is code, automation. Automation is super helpful to kind of accelerate growth in business. It can kind of save you valuable time and free up resources so that you could focus on other demands. So at my companies, I run several companies in the software, e-commerce, and marketing space. We kind of leverage automation. So some of the tools that I personally have used are Zapier. We utilize these systems to really make our workflows easier. For instance, CRM, customer relationship management systems like HubSpot and Salesforce, they make it easier for you to stay organized and on task, and they help maintain kind of smooth business operations. I recommend implementing some of these softwares into your day-to-day business operations to make stuff go seamlessly. 88% of small companies say that it has enabled them to compete with larger businesses. And this fact alone showcases the importance of leaning into automation. With that being said, there are several different types of automation. The first is RPA, and what that stands for is robotic process automation. Robotic process automation involves the use of software or robots, bots, to kind of do the repetitive day-to-day tasks for you. These bots can kind of take over tasks that have been done by humans to free up your time. Now, how these bots perform is they mimic the kind of acts of humans and allow for tasks such as data entry, data extraction, and stuff like that. And this could even, it could reduce errors in your current workflow, because these bots are some of them are very precise. With that being said, second example is industrial automation. And what this stands for is industrial automation. It involves the use of machinery, control systems, and robots, to perform day-to-day tasks such as assembly, packaging, and quality control. Think of Amazon and Tesla. In their warehouse, they use kind of robots to do a lot of industrial tasks, and these robots allow the companies to basically optimize their workflow. Number 3 is cognitive automation. It integrates AI and ML, or machine learning, to perform complex tasks that require kind of cognitive abilities. It can kind of save you time and potentially resources. If you think of ChatGPT, this is the best known example in terms of copy, polishing up emails and stuff like that. That's a great system to implement into your day-to-day workflow. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm going to kind of leave off at business process automation. What it does is it focuses on kind of looking out into the entire business process involving kind of multiple tasks. Now, this can basically allow you to kind of really organize the way that your workflow is managed and streamline processes from kind of approvals to document management. So it could, for a larger company, really make the company itself operate at a very effective level. So with that being said, we covered a few of the many different types of automation, and that is kind of something to think about. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, how can you improve your systems? Number 2, this is the second C, and this stands for content. If you see kind of on Instagram, social media, a lot of entrepreneurs are creating content, and this content is to help engage and build an audience. This content can kind of create audiences that you can then monetize and sell products or services to. So kind of did you know, right? There are 4 billion active social media users worldwide. That's roughly half of the global population. And of those users, about each, right, spend more than 30 minutes per day browsing feeds, shopping online, and interacting with their kind of favorite content creators and influencers and stuff like that. And this presents, as an entrepreneur, a massive opportunity to tap into that market. I'd recommend regularly posting on feeds so that you can cultivate a personal brand and a style that people can kind of familiarize themselves with. A lot of the content that I post personally is on my Instagram, my YouTube, my website. I have a blog as well. And this allows people to really engage with my brand in multiple different places. But again, the content is consistent. I tend to offer value and stuff like that. In addition to consistency, it's good to develop a social media marketing strategy. Kind of looking at some of the companies that I run, a lot of them have marketing teams. And these marketing teams, week to week, the social media managers kind of cultivate a marketing strategy. And they have, for each day, kind of what content they plan to upload. And this content strategy allows us to stay organized and know what content is being posted. Another thing you can do, and I spoke a little bit about this, but leverage video across many different channels. I'd recommend don't just post on one channel, but kind of allow people to find you in multiple different places. This kind of offers the ability to be more searchable. Some things I recommend are kind of adding video to press releases, creating video in batches to save yourself some time. There's so much you could do with kind of content and stuff like that. Like, you don't have to start kind of with a lot of expensive equipment. You can kind of start very small and using your kind of existing audience and just put something out there and kind of gain viewer feedback. The third C is capital. Capital makes, if you're a business owner, your life easier. Whether you're bootstrapping or pursuing an investor, having capital to kind of put back into your company makes your life easier and accelerates progress. As a business owner, kind of to get started, what I've done is I've utilized platforms like Fiverr and Upwork to save myself time and really rely on talented freelancers to get some of the tasks done. As a business owner, you're juggling multiple tasks at once, managing a lot of stress and managing people. So kind of allocating capital to a lot of time-consuming tasks by utilizing freelance platforms and other metrics can make your life 10 times easier. And in business, it's recommended, right? Once you start making capital, to reinvest it back into the business to further accelerate growth. As a startup, it may be volatile from time to time. And during those shaky moments, right, when you're making some capital, it is recommended, right, to put some of that back into the business to build stability, whether it's hiring new people or, right, investing those resources in better systems, better software to accelerate growth and build a company that thrives. Number 4, and I know I made number 3 quick, but number 4, let's just get right into it. It is collaboration, teams. As a business owner, you have to be good at managing people. There are a lot of different kind of things that go wrong on a day-to-day basis, but building the right team could make your life a lot easier. In my companies, we have probably over 100 people spread across different businesses doing a lot of different tasks to propel these businesses forward. And the first thing that my longtime business partner and I did was we kind of hired people on a commission basis. As a startup owner, you don't necessarily have to pay salaries right off the bat. You could find people and give them equity or commission. And if they believe in what you're doing, and if you kind of offer them enough value, whether it's long-term or short-term, they may want to be a part of that team. So in some of my companies, we first started kind of onboarding a C-suite, and this C-suite consisted of people with prior business experience. We were fortunate enough to have a lot of other co-founders, people that went to business schools like Babson and Wharton, that from my network wanted to get involved, and we gave them equity. And at that time, we didn't have enough upfront costs. We wanted to pump everything back into the company. So we had to sit down conversations with all of these candidates, and we explained to them our mission, our vision, our values, and they wanted to get involved despite us not having the upfront capital to inject into salary. So what we did was we gave them a nice equity package, and we showed them our business plan and how we aimed to transition them into a salary once we got investors. So sources of authority that you can leverage when building a strong team. You can leverage your expertise meaning certifications, prior business experience, kind of your familiarity with the industry you're in. You could also leverage your relationships. I had a good existing network. Through economic connectedness, you may or may not know what that is. I was fortunate enough to be with a lot of like-minded individuals, people that came from business families, people that may know of investors, people that went to business-oriented schools, to be honest, that my existing relationships were very strong. But I also spent time utilizing LinkedIn, social media, and posting content to kind of engage people. And we also really kind of spent a lot of time on our copy, kind of the message that we used to recruit a lot of these talented people. That was also very strong. The next example of authority or something that you could leverage is like your corporate and organizational understanding. A lot of successful entrepreneurs, they have done some years in corporate before they launched their company. And this allowed them to kind of get familiar with the systems and the structure and kind of develop executive functioning and organizational understanding, so that when they launched their own business and they kind of could set their schedule, their calendars, and they weren't managed by anyone. They had an existing understanding and something to kind of ground them in kind of this new unfamiliar journey. So with that being said, some takeaway questions are: how often as a business owner should I reevaluate my strategies to kind of understand what's working and what's not working? So you should reevaluate these strategies, kind of how effectively that you're using, right? The 4 C's about every quarter. It's good to kind of do check-ins. A lot of times with my teams, we do executive check-ins. We try to touch base with all of our C-suites, kind of in team meetings and one-on-one, to see kind of how different branches of the company are performing. It is also vital that you understand kind of how you're leveraging code, capital, collaboration, everything, so that you can ensure that your business is kind of growing effectively. And at some point, right, some of you might not have everything. You might possess more experience than capital, better people than kind of code, but it is important that over time, right, you effectively kind of gain balance in all of these things, because it will make your life easier. In addition to that, how can your business, right, measure the impact of these strategies? So there are many metrics that you could use to measure kind of how effectively you're engaging in leveraging these systems. For instance, if you're leveraging technology, right, you can look at metrics such as operational efficiency, cost savings, and increased sales, or, right, improved customer service metrics. These are all ways that you can engage, that you can, right, gauge if you are effectively kind of leveraging. The final thought here is something that you can kind of walk away with, is like every great achievement that anyone's ever accomplished It demands a version of you that you may not today have fully cultivated. A version that's relentless, disciplined, driven beyond comfort. That version for myself is still getting built today. But kind of by learning, being in the right rooms, kind of gaining strong teams, networking with the right people, gaining investors, an understanding of organizational kind of structure and systems, you can kind of make your goals a reality over time by mastering the 4 C's. You will kind of be surprised about how far you've come. With that being said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next